Okay, yeah. So again, thank you very much for inviting me to the conference.
谢谢大家邀请我来参加这次会议。
So I will speak about a method, or almost like a course, for wellness that I developed over the last few years.
我会跟大家介绍我这些年来我创作的一个追寻幸福平安的一个方法。
And that we are now putting online on internet with the University of Ottawa for free access of the method.
我们也通过渥太华大学的网站把它放在网上，而且是一个非盈利的、免费的。
And I'm very happy to be able to present here because as a professor, I have connection obviously to University of Ottawa, but also I'm visiting professor here at Jiaotong, and I have a connection with Université de Lyon in France.
我很高兴能够在这里跟大家来介绍这个方法因为我自己本身是在渥太华大学任教，然后也跟上海交大这边有合作，跟法国的里昂大学也有合作。
And I'm very happy because the first time I presented the project was in Ottawa, the second time a few weeks ago in Lyon, and now in Shanghai.
我很高兴第一次讲这个是在渥太华，第二次是在法国里昂，然后第三次就是在这里。
So my three connections are the first presentations in the three cities where I am connected to.
对，所以这也是我在这边讲的第一个。
So I'm happy to be here. Now, in Canada, we always have to first, before we do a presentation, to say whether there's any disclosure in terms of conflict of interest, if I'm receiving money to talk about a product or not. So I just officially declare I have no conflict of interest. I'm not receiving any money or not selling any product.
在加拿大，我们在开始的时候通常都要做一个这样的宣告，来说明跟其他的一些药厂或者生物公司有没有从属关系或者利益冲突。然后我是没有这些从属关系，也没有跟他们有任何利益冲突的。
Thank you. So I'd like to begin on why did I develop a method for wellness or method for happiness?
首先我想讲一下为什么我要创造这样一个追求平安、追求幸福的一个方法。
So the motivation was from my professional practice as a psychiatrist, as a researcher, but also as a hospital leader and university leader eventually as a dean.
这个动机来自于我的职业活动，因为我既是一个精神科医生，然后也是一个研究者，是医院的领导，也是大学的领导。
So these were my professional motivations, but also because of the context over the last 20 years on the physician context in Canada, but also in the USA.
除了职业方面的原因，另外一部分原因也是因为医学的背景，不光是在加拿大，还有包括在其他的西方国家。
Where there has been a need for health programs, but also wellness programs for physicians' mental health.
他们需要这种针对医生的心理健康的这种健康计划，或者说幸福计划。
So, like for any practice, for any clinicians, not only myself, we've always approached, especially with the Western approach to psychiatric illness, we always have been thinking in terms of disease or symptoms that patient may have, and through methods, either medication or psychotherapy, go from disease to no disease, basically symptom to no symptom.
所以在任何的临床实践当中，我们通常从西方医学的角度来说，我们会去考虑症状或者疾病，然后会去找到一些方法和工具，去去除这些疾病，然后变成了症状更少，或者是没有症状。
But there's always been a question for me personally, but also for many researchers in the field, is that once you remove symptoms or that you define there's no more illness, what is health? What is wellness?
但是对我以及对其他这个领域的研究者来说，我们通常会思考一个问题，就是当我们把症状去除之后，没有疾病了，但是那怎样算是健康呢？健康的定义是什么？幸福的定义是什么？
And how should we define health? And should there be other tools to bring from no disease, no symptoms to health?
我们到底应该怎么定义健康？然后有什么方法和工具能够把我们从一个没有疾病的状态，升级到一个健康的状态？
So that was a question that was of great interest to me
这对我来说是很有兴趣的一个问题。
as a clinician.
对，作为一个临床工作者。
But also as a physician leader of a psychiatric department in several hospitals, I was also interested in training programs that would help leaders becoming from maybe poor or just average leaders to possibly great leaders.
但是同时，作为一个精神医学科的领导，我也经常会想，怎样把一个不好的领导，或者说是一个很普通的领导，能够用什么方法让他变成一个好领导。
So there's been many training programs. Some of them I developed, but there are many programs that have been developed in many of the Western countries to try to improve leadership.
所以在西方国家，大家也开发了很多种课程，或者说一些工作坊，包括我自己也创作了一些方法来提高领导力。
So as an example of a program that we developed was called Mindsets in Mastery. So it was basically how to use psychological knowledge to improve oneself, not to be only better administrator, but also better person and better leader.
所以举一个例子，这是我们的一个项目，说的是掌握心态，其实就是利用心理学的方法，能够帮助一个普通的人或者一个普通的领导变成一个更好、更健康的人、更健康的领导。
So this is an example of a program that I had developed with Liz Wiseman, who was a vice president of a big high-tech company, Oracle.
这个就是一个例子，是我们跟 Liz Wiseman 这个科学家合作创作的。
And we published a paper a few years ago with a medical student on a model of leadership and wellness also for the medical context.
很多年前我们发表了一篇文章，主要的研究对象就是医学生他们的领导力。
Other examples of medical leadership training that I was involved with was at University of Ottawa, where we have courses for physicians, young and mid-career physicians, to learn how to do better administration or better plan and strategy.
这是一些例子，是我们在渥太华大学去执行的一些项目，帮助一些年轻的医生能够拥有更好的领导力。
One of them that we started a few months ago was actually with Ottawa, University of Lyon in France, and also University of Montreal.
其中一个项目是几个月前开始的，是我们渥太华大学跟里昂大学还有蒙特利尔大学一起合作的。
But in the same way that as a clinician, there was a question of what is health and whether we could have methods that was for patients.
在临床工作当中，对于病人，我们会说什么是健康，什么是这个幸福啊。
There's a similar question in the field of training for medical leadership about what would be not only a great leader, but what would be a great healthy leader, and whether we could have some tools and methods to help the leaders in being healthy.
在领导能力训练当中，我们也有类似的问题。就是说怎样成为一个好的领导、好的健康的领导，它的这个定义是什么？有没有什么工具或者方法能够帮助我们成为一个好的健康的领导？
And matter of fact that many of the young administrators or leaders in the medical domain say that they like to have courses, but not only courses to learn administration, but also courses to learn to be well and happy as leaders in a stressful environment.
在我们医学界的很多年轻的管理者当中，他们都会喜欢去参加一些课程。这些课程不仅仅是说我去学习管理，也包括去学习怎样成为一个更好、更健康的人。
And so that these were the two professional contexts as a clinician and also as a leader who designed programs for leadership.
这刚刚讨论的是两种不同的职业背景。
The other context was the one of physician illness, mental illness, and physician health in general.
另一个背景就是医生的健康。
So in Canada, but also in the U.S., so in North America in general.
在加拿大和在美国都有这样的问题。
So starting about the let's say the 1990s, and I was particularly in Canada.
从上个世纪90年代开始，我在加拿大。
Where several hospitals, university hospitals, where physicians were working, had suffered from losses of physicians due to suicide.
一些大学医院里面的医生会有自杀倾向。
So which led the medical community to start to pay attention to physician, not only mental health, but physician psychiatric problems.
所以后来我们也就会更加关注到这个医生的一些心理健康。
So example, we spoke about suicide, but depression, also addictions, personality disorders became more and more a subject of concern for the medical community.
比如说这个自杀、抑郁、物质成瘾，还有一些人格障碍，越来越受到重视。
So if you look at the literature in North America, you see more and more some writings about physician mental illness, physician burnout, which is another term. Sometimes this is equivalent to lots of mental health problems like depression or anxiety.
所以，如果你去阅读美国的一些文献，你会发现很多文献都会涉及到医生的心理健康，或者说医生的一些职业倦怠的问题。
And recent reviews, such as the one cited here, will report more and more problems with burnout or physician problems in mental health.
近期有一篇综述就讲到，在医生当中的这种职业倦怠，就是越来越多的引起很多心理问题。
What you see here are recent, basically articles by some presidents of medical associations in Canada, which report that burnout is a very serious problem and very frequent problem among physicians.
最近加拿大一些医学协会的一些主席，他们就发表了很多文章，就是关于说到这个医生的职业倦怠问题。
And there are also studies, more American studies, that also make the link between physician psychiatric illness or physician burnout and the impact on services, hospital services and services to patients.
他们会去探索在医生的这种职业倦怠和临床服务方面的一些联系。
Which in the Canadian or US context it's similarly to anybody who suffers from a psychiatric problem. Physicians also have illnesses, psychiatric illnesses, and a need to be treated, which sometimes is a challenge because physicians might not access treatments because of reputation or stigma.
在美国的这个医疗背景下，其实像普通人会得精神疾病一样，很多医生也会得精神疾病，但是他们当中很多人都没有接受治疗。其中一方面的原因是因为名誉上的问题，另外一方面就是病耻感。
So they sometimes call, instead of calling it psychiatric treatment, they call about health programs because there's less stigma or less bad reputation associated with this terminology.
所以我们有的人把这种对于精神疾病的治疗，我们把它叫做健康计划，听起来就会降低一些病耻感。
So in many jurisdictions, such as the province of Ontario in Canada, you see development of health program specific for physicians who have depression problem, anxiety problem, addiction problems, anything they may need to be treated for.
所以在加拿大很多的医学协会当中，比如说安大略省的这个医学协会，他们会有很多的关于医生的健康计划，尤其是对于那些有抑郁或者是有其他心理问题的医生。
And many of these programs are often linked to helping physicians getting treatment because otherwise they would not keep their physician licenses.
很多这些计划都会帮助医生去获得这样的治疗，但是前提是不会去影响他们的行医执照这方面的问题。
So in the last, I would say, decade, last 10 years, many of these health programs have developed in North America.
所以在最近几十年，很多这样的计划在美国都兴起了。
But there are also programs that have been developing not only to treat physicians who have problems, serious problems, but also programs to help physicians not get into mental health problems. And these have been called wellness programs.
除了刚才说到的这种给医生提供治疗、帮他们摆脱疾病状态的这种计划之外，我们还有一些计划是用来帮助那些还没有患病的人，就是去避免患病的。这种计划我们把它叫做这个 wellness 这个计划。然后这个词如果按我们中国翻译的话，可能是平安或者说是什么，但是其实对他们来说是一种健康，然后能够有追求的一个状态。
And so many of these programs have been developing in many of the hospitals across Canada and the USA. I give you the example of the Ottawa Hospital, which is a teaching hospital with the University of Ottawa, where they have a fairly complete wellness program.
所以在美国和加拿大的很多医院里面都有这样的计划。我现在列举的这个例子是渥太华医院的，它也是渥太华大学的一个教学医院，他们就有以下这一些我们叫平安计划。
Where there are many components meant at preventing problems in physicians, problems such as burnout, with many components, and some of them is also addressing emotional health and resilience.
主要是聚焦怎么去预防在医生群体当中发生的这些职业倦怠，比如说还有他们的一些情感健康和他们的这个恢复力。
So that's the example at the hospital level. At the Faculty of Medicine level, there are also wellness programs to prevent too much stress or depression or so-called burnout in physicians. Not only the physicians, but also medical students and professors also.
所以刚刚那个计划是在医院层面上的，在职工或者说在团队层面上也有一些这样的计划， 不仅仅是为医生提供这种帮助，也为一些医学生还有一些教授提供这样的帮助。
And these programs address treatment when there's a need of treatment for serious problems, up to maintenance of mental health and prevention of problems.
这些计划不仅仅是给他们提供治疗，然后也是给他们提供预防心理疾病的一些方法和措施。
An example of some program for wellness or to promote wellness among medical students are programs that have developed in North America that introduce what is called the humanities back into the medical programs, medical studies.
这个是举一个例子，说是这个计划它主要针对的就是医学生的，这个计划是在美国开始的，然后主要是把人文带到医学背景里面来。
So these programs are often called medicine in the humanities, meaning to support wellness, physical and mental wellness through adding the humanities, which means it could be literature, arts, philosophy, back into the program as in the curriculum, but also extracurricular activity.
所以这个计划的名称我们把它叫做医学与人文。在这个计划当中，我们会用到很多人文方面的，比如说是文学或者说是艺术，还有哲学的一些思想体现在这个课程当中。
So one of the programs actually involves Jiaotong University School of Medicine, together with University of Lyon, France, and University of Ottawa.
我们其中的一个计划就是跟交大，然后还有渥太华这边联合起来的。
So this is a summer school, summer program, where medical students from Lyon, Shanghai, and Ottawa all get together every year in a different city to be involved more in the humanities, which is a way also to maintain good wellness.
我们会办一些暑期学校，然后把加拿大的学生、上海的学生，还有里昂的学生聚集到一起，每年都在不同的城市举办。然后在这个团体当中，会介绍更多的人文方面的知识，然后就是用在他们的这种健康和幸福的获得当中。
So the program started 2 years ago. First year was in Ottawa, last year was in Lyon, and next month will be in Shanghai.
这个计划是2年前开始的，第一年是在渥太华，第2年在法国，然后今年会1个月之后在上海。
So these are examples of not only health and treatment programs, but also wellness maintenance or promotion programs that have developed in North America.
这是一个例子，就是不仅仅是去除疾病的这种健康计划，然后也包括从没有疾病的状态到一个健康平安的状态，这个平安计划。
But the question remains, is that going from disease to no disease, what is really actually health, and how do we define health, whether it's for patients, whether it's for physician leaders or physicians themselves? What is health and how should we define it?
但是仍然存在的一个问题是，我们可能可以定义什么是从疾病状态到没有疾病的状态，但我们很难去定义到底什么是健康，什么是平安。然后，不管是对于医生啊、医学生，或者说是领导来说，到底怎样才是一个健康和平安的状态，这个定义还不清楚。
So what is health? How can we define it more precisely? And can there be more effective tools or method to learn or to practice towards the definition of health?
所以，什么是健康？我们能不能够去精准的定义健康？有没有什么工具或者方法能够让我们达到健康，或者说这种平安幸福的状态
So the question was more precisely, could there be a method with tools designed specifically for a defined goal of health or wellness?
所以这个问题简要概括来说，就是有没有一种方法，它能够提供一些工具来特定的去帮助我们达到健康或者说幸福平安的这个目标。
So that's what has led to developing the method, which has been drawn on evidence, so evidence research from the fields of neurobiology, psychopharmacology, psychotherapy, but also to draw from some of the old knowledge from philosophy and spirituality.
所以为了设计这个方法，我去找了很多的证据，包括有神经生物学的，或者说是精神药理学的、精神治疗方面的，也包括一些来自一些古老的哲学上的，以及一些灵性上面的一些知识。
And that led to the method which I call the intrinsic practice.
于是我就创作了这个内在实践。
So you might want to describe intrinsic in Chinese. I don't know if there's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
word for it. From the inside means it comes from Latin actually.
对，其实解释起来，这个 intrinsic 它就是一个从内而外的，我们这边中文来说，可能就是说一个内在的一个实践、一个训练。
So the intrinsic practice is a method, like a course, a method with tools that can be useful to enhance one's ability to experience happiness.
所以内在实践其实是一种方法，它提供了很多种工具来帮助我们，就是能够提高自己体验幸福的能力。
So it can be useful, but it is not a treatment, it is not a therapy, it's just a method with tools that is meant to be useful for people to enhance what they already have in them.
所以这个方法它是一个有用的方法，但是它并不是一个治疗手段。
And it's based on a specific definition of happiness, which I drew from psychology and also from the leadership fields. And it integrates the techniques that have been used in these various fields.
这个方法它基于的是幸福的定义，然后整合了来自医学、心理学、哲学，还有其他宗教啊或者灵性方面的各种技术。
So to be clear, it's not a treatment, and it's not for people to get help for psychiatric illness. It's really for healthy populations who want to acquire tools and knowledge to be happier.
所以准确来说，它不是一种治疗手段，不是用来帮助那些有心理疾病的人能够恢复健康，而是针对广泛的这些就是没有疾病的健康人群。
But we are designing the studies to see whether it could be useful, maybe to as determined by clinical trials for a clinical setting.
我们也在设计一些研究，去验证它在临床上面是否有它的这个价值或者是否有效。
So that's the method. The method has 6 steps.
这就是它的方法，有6个步骤。
The first step is how to set up one's own practice.
第一步就是说怎么去设置我的这个实践。
In terms of commitment and time.
Sorry.
So set up one's practice in terms of time that is dedicated to it and commitment.
去设定关于我投入它的时间，还有我怎么去投入去做哪些事情。
The second step is using some tools to define what happiness may be for oneself.
第二步是使用一些工具去定义对于某一个人来说，他幸福到底是什么。
The third step is really tools to understand oneself.
第三步就是说真正的去了解自己，去认识自己。
The fourth step is our tools to understand the world around us better and more specifically.
第4步是帮助我们更好的去认识我们周围的这个世界。
And the 5th step, based on one's definition of happiness, one's knowledge of ourself and our world, is to envision what could be happiness in very specific situations.
第5步，它是基于我们对幸福的定义，然后也是通过每个人不同的知识去预想我的幸福应该是什么样子的，我能够获得什么样的幸福。
And the 6th step, or the last step, is using techniques that already exist from the neurosciences or the psychology or even philosophy to transform oneself from one's experience in specific situation to experiences that may be more happy.
第6步就是利用现有的一些工具，去寻找什么样的经历是能够让我们会觉得更加幸福的。
So that's you could consider it as a course with specific topics on what happiness is and the knowledge we know from research, what we are, what the environment is, and how we can transform ourselves. This could be considered like a course.
所以你可以把它当做一个课程来讨论说幸福是什么，然后我们要去怎样追寻幸福，或者是追寻什么样的幸福。
And each of the steps have a specific, it might be hard to translate in Chinese, but what we call mnemonics, which are techniques with the English or French language to make words that help you remember many other words.
所以他说这一部分可能是比较难翻译的。这个 mnemonics， 它的意思是在在英语或者是在法语当中，我们有的时候会把一些单词的首字母连在一起，然后把它变成一个新的单词，从而来辅助我们记忆。
And templates, which are basically structured tools to learn the techniques and learn the various steps in the same way that you find templates in cognitive behavior therapy, IPT, and so on.
然后它会有一些模板或者说是模式是比较结构化的，来帮助我们怎样去做这些事情。
So I will go describe the various steps with the mnemonics and the templates.
所以我接下来会介绍一些关于这个mnemonics， 就是我们把它叫记忆术吧，就是翻译出来就是记忆术和一些模板。
But you know, we can only give you in a short presentation an overview of the mnemonics, the tools, and the templates.
那我们只能简短的说一下。
The method itself is being put online with a lot of instructions for each of the steps and each of the tools. Instructions written, but instructions also with video and instructions with animation. So I can only give you an overview.
这些具体的一些方法，还有它的指南，在网上都有，包括它有文字的，然后也有一些视频的介绍。今天我就主要跟大家说一个大概的一个框架。
So let's go briefly through each of the steps.
我们现在简要的来看一下每一个步骤。
So the first step is how to set up my practice. It's basically how to structure it and give it the right time to start the method.
所以第一步就是怎样来设置我们的时间，比如说我们怎样来安排这个时间，怎样来就是设置这个架构。
So there is one mnemonic and one template.
有一个记忆术和一个模板。
So the mnemonic, and that's the example, START, START, which stands for strength, time, agreement, resolution, and thoughtfulness. That's an example of a mnemonic.
这是一个例子，就是这个 START， 它的每一个首字母，然后都是可以就是让你联想到另外几个单词。
So the first letter of the mnemonic, for example, strength for S, are some instructions on how to evaluate if one is healthy enough to start the method.
第一个 S 它代表的是力量， 就是主要是去评价我们是否有这个足够的能力。
The second one, time, is how to structure your time in specific places to practice, like going to a class to learn music, arts, or sports. So give it a specific dedicated time in specific places.
第二个是具体的，你怎么安排你的时间去学习，或者说去实践，具体的时间，怎么安排这个问题。
An agreement is to see whether the method and its emphasis on happiness actually is a fit with your beliefs. So there's a questionnaire on that.
然后这个同意主要是说，对这个幸福的一些，他接下来会提到幸福的一些看法，还有包括有4个关于幸福的这个问题是否同意。
And resolution is a way of evaluating commitment.
这个解决的话就是说，我们要去做怎样的行动。
And T for thoughtfulness is a very simple exercise of concentration and emotional also focus that is done in a few minutes.
这个思考的话，它是一个比较简单的一个活动，用几分钟来帮我们就是获得更好的一个注意力和关注，对于学习和实践。
So I can only go briefly as an overview. There's a lot of instructions, as I said, that will be available on the internet.
所以我只能简要的跟大家过一下，它具体的那些指南可以在网上看到。
So just an example of the template is how to structure one's time and place, how many minutes every day to practice, and how many minutes every week to learn more about the method, the reading, and the understanding.
这就是一个模板，比如说去计划我们每天花哪个10分钟去学习这些技术，然后每周花哪几天的时间来学习。
The agreement with the focus on happiness is basically evaluating one's belief towards happiness. I don't have time to go into the details, but it simply evaluates the belief to see whether the method is a good fit. If it is not, then the recommendation is not to continue.
同意这一部分主要是去看每个人他对于幸福的看法到底是什么样，然后我们再来决定他是否合适去参与到这个项目里面来。
The thoughtfulness exercise is a very basic one that has been taught with many methods of relaxation or of concentration or meditation. 3-step in about 3 to 5 minutes. One, how to breathe from the diaphragm, so a healthy breathing. The second one, how to come to a relaxed emotion. And the third one, how to focus the thoughts, just as a tool to be able to learn better.
这个思考训练的话，主要是包括3个部分，它其实运用了很多放松的技术。比如说第一个在呼吸训练上面，它就是会让你用1分钟，然后去做10个这样的呼吸训练。然后第2部分它包括有怎样把你的情绪给平静下来。然后第3部分呢，就是让你能够更加认真的去思考。这个方法就是能够帮助你更好的去学习。
But it's something that is not demanding and takes about 5 minutes a day. Could be useful, but it's not a very demanding meditation technique. For example, it's simply a good breathing, relax, and good attention and concentration.
这个训练它不需要花特别长的时间。差不多。
Yeah. Yes, it's okay. So that was the first step. So that's simply setting up yourself as if you would be taking a course where you have to put time and dedication to learn, whatever it's a course, as I said, sports, music, photography, anything. The second step is one that is important because it is a step where there are tools that could be useful to determine what happiness is for any individual specifically that wants to follow the method.
刚才那个步骤可能是在大家学习这方面有帮助的。 第二个步骤它主要就是一个工具，来教我们如何定义幸福。
So, for example, if we ask anybody here or ask myself, what is happiness? We're likely to have a different answer. Everybody has a different answer.
举个例子，比如说我现在问大家，你们觉得幸福是什么？大家会有各种不同的答案。
And some people may not have a good answer for themselves.
有的人可能就没有一个答案。
So this step doesn't give an answer, but suggests some ways to start to think about what happiness may be for anybody individually.
这个方法它不会给我们答案说幸福到底是什么，但是它会给我们一个方法，帮助我们去思考对于自己来说幸福到底是什么。
And it's drawn from the fields of psychology, the fields of sociology, philosophy, but also leadership training programs.
这个方法的来源包括有心理学的、哲学的，也包括领导力训练方面的一些内容。
And the mnemonic, again, the word peace, and every letter reminds you of the specific tools.
这个记忆术就是 peace， 它也是每一个字母对应了一个单词，来帮助大家记忆。
So there's 5 what I would call elements that are suggested to make you start to think about what happiness may be for you. One is purpose.
所以这里有5个要素来帮助大家思考幸福到底是什么。第一个是目的。
One of ethics, or also called values.
第二个是伦理道德或者说价值。
One of personal specific attributes or strengths.
第三个是说个人的一些能力或者个人的一些特点。
One what you care for in terms of people, in terms of things, in terms of ideas.
一个是你关心什么，可以是关心什么人，或者是你比较关心一些想法或者一些事情。
And one element is just pleasure.
然后另外一个要素就是快乐。
Enjoyment. So the template is this one, where you are invited to list first what are your specific attributes, so means your strengths or personality strengths.
这个模板就是主要是让你来填写这个每一项对应的你自己的情况，你的能力是什么。
Listing what your values may be and what your purpose could be.
你的价值观是什么？你的那个目的是什么？
While keeping in mind what you care for and what you usually have pleasure from.
然后同时也去思考你关心的到底是什么，你的快乐到底来自哪里。
So this is not novel. It's been drawn from many fields, including philosophy, for many, many years.
这也是来自很多领域，这个内容来自很多领域，包括也是哲学，已经有很多年了。
So to help to start to define for oneself very specifically what may be the elements of happiness, then I use a list of words that have been drawn from literature, dictionaries, and so on. For example, on attributes, so specific personality strengths, there are words that people can maybe choose from if they don't know how to define what their attributes are.
为了帮助我们更加准确的去定义幸福，我们会有一些词汇表来帮助大家，就是来使用。比如说，有的人他可能不知道怎么去定义，说我的这个个人能力是什么，那么他就可以从这张表里面挑选一个词语。
And all the words, a lot of them are extracted from big dictionaries such as the Oxford Dictionary.
这些词语通常都是从词典里面来的，一些比较大的词典，比如说牛津词典。
For ethics or values, there are many scales of values, many ways of evaluating. Again, I provide words that were drawn from the major dictionaries, such as the Oxford Dictionary.
对于伦理和价值，也有各种各样的描述，然后我也是从一些词典里面找出了这些词语。
So if the practitioners of the method don't know how to define their own values, they can look at the word list to see some words that maybe would inspire them or would describe what they may hold as values.
假如有的人他不知道怎么去定义自己的这个伦理观或者说价值观，他就可以从这些表里面去挑选词语来描述他自己心目中的那个价值。
For purpose, the tools are to draw some sentences about what purpose would be in life, so goal in life with meaning. So I am here to be let's say, a good doctor or a good father or a good citizen, whatever. I am here to do this. It's just a way to start to formulate what may be goals in life or purpose in life.
在目的这方面，我们主要用的技术是让大家造句，比如说，我在这里是为了成为一个什么样的，或者说我在这里是为了做什么的，或者说，我生命中重要的事情是什么，我生命中的目标是什么，来帮助大家去找到自己的目的。
So these elements, who we are to express it, and values and purpose have been shown to be especially important in maximizing wellness in anybody, but also recently in some of the publications for physicians and leaders.
上面提到的这些要素，在很多领域都被证明是非常重要的，就是包括也是在医生和这个医学生这个领域，还有领导。
And so the template that filled out enable ones to start to think about happiness might be, and whether there might be imbalances between values and maybe goals, or values and temperament, or what we care for.
所以当我们完成这张表格之后，我们就可以开始去思考，比如说我怎样平衡我的这个目的和这个价值观方面的问题。
But again, it's not a suggestion that it is a definition of happiness, but just tools to start to formulate your own definition of happiness. It may be useful.
对，但是这只是一个帮助我们去寻找自己对幸福的定义的一个工具。
So that was step number 2. Step number 3 is actually how to learn about oneself.
第3步是帮助我们怎样去认识自己。
So they are the mnemonic is mindset.
这个记忆术是这个 mindset.
Which basically describes many dimensions that you find in the psychological literature. The very classical one based on the body, so somatic, the emotions, the thoughts, the behavior, but also include the self-concepts.
它涉及了很多心理学上面的一些维度，然后也涉及到了一些自我概念上面的一些东西。
Also include what has been very much developed in psychoanalysis, defense mechanism or mechanisms.
它也包括了一些精神动力学上面的一些问题。
And also includes a dimension that is known in the psychological literature as locus of control, intrinsicness or extrinsicness.
然后也包括一些对什么内在的控制之类的，这个不知道怎么用中文翻译了。
So there's 7 dimensions that can be used to understand oneself, and do it in a very dynamic way with instructions.
这7个维度，然后我们也可以就是同时去思考这7个维度上面的问题，用这个模板。
And it's also a way of guarding against sometimes being too reductionist about understanding oneself, looking only at thoughts or only emotion or only behavior.
当你需要就是去认识自己到底想做什么，你做这些东西的目的是什么，意义是什么的时候，也可以用这个方法。
So again, for each of these dimensions, there's written instructions, but also there's video instructions and even other illustration like animation.
这里的每一个维度它都有很具体的指導，但是今天時間不夠就不會細說。
I can only talk about briefly, but again, I use the list of words for identifying physical experience, for example.
我在这里简要的就介绍了2个，其中就是关于列的这个词汇表来形容。
List of words for helping to identify emotional experience.
帮助我们来定义我们的一些情感体验。
Thoughts, the type of thinking, where logical, not logical, structure, and so on. So also a list of words.
对，帮助我们定义我们的想法的一些词汇。
To describe behavior.
来描述我们行为的一些词汇。
And a list of words to describe the mechanism that were more classically known as defense mechanisms.
还包括像机制方面，我们通常知道的自我防卫机制、防御机制。
So, but just classify it in a way that make it maybe easier to use. So, mechanism that accept oneself or one's feelings or one's values, or even one's personality attributes.
这个 ，sorry.
So yeah, so mechanism that accept who we are, so accept our emotion, accept our
就
strength.
接受自我，然后这些对。
Mechanism that block, that deny, that don't accept.
包括一些拒绝、否认的一些机制。
And mechanism that when we deny ourselves, how do we cope with it?
当我们否认自己的时候，我们如何去解决这个问题的一些机制。
So this is the most complex part of the method because it's very difficult to understand. So there's a lot of instructions, and there is one template.
这是这整个方法当中最复杂的一个部分，因为它确实是需要很多的知识和理解，所以我们也列了很详细的一些指导。
I don't have any time to go into the details, but it's a template to help to learn about mechanism.
我没有太多的时间跟大家讲，所以只能给大家展示一下这个模板，是关于这个机制的一个模板。
It's the hardest part of the whole method, that's for sure.
这是整个方法当中最难的一个部分。
And then we have also intrinsicness, locus of control. So it's basically to determine whether one is more with an internal locus of control, like control over emotions, over thoughts, and be anchored.
所以这个也是就是我们有的人可能是比较把想法内化的，有的人是比较外化的。
So classically or typically sometimes described as living from inside out, from anchor into your values or purpose into situations.
有的时候我们就会说它，比如说是种由内而外的方式，或者有的人是由外及内的这个方式。
Or external locus of control, being influenced by others and on our control of emotions and values and thoughts.
这个由内及外，比如说它主要就是说我们自己内心的想法，然后去影响我们的行为。然后这个由外及内呢，主要就是说外界的一些影响，然后外界的一些事物来影响我自己的这个行为。
Yeah, what you find in psychology and used in CBT a lot.
这个在 CBT 里面是应用很广泛。
The notions of self-concept are basically with sentences that would define who we are and what we believe.
然后这个自我的这个知觉这个概念这一方面，就主要还是一些句子，比如说我是谁，我有什么，我不是谁，或者说我不拥有什么。
And that enables already some understanding of what our definition of happiness may be, and understanding what our experiences are from all these dimensions.
所以这也涉及到，当我们去定义什么是幸福的时候，包括什么样的体验是我们觉得可以一直去做让我们幸福的，然后什么样的体验是我觉得不会幸福的。
So a way to approach more and more knowledge about ourselves from what happiness is, ourselves about what we experience, situation by situation.
所以这个也是分情况而定的，在不同的情况下，对我来说，幸福到底是什么？我要去做什么？
And then we go to the fourth step, which is basically how to get a better, thorough understanding of our surrounding, every context, situation by situation.
现在我们进入到第4步，认识我们身边的这个世界，就帮助我们更好的去理解我们身边的周围的世界。
And this was developed also having in mind for leaders or young administrators to understand sometimes the world, the environment they act in, because sometimes they don't know about governance, they don't know about who the people are in terms of conflicts and so on.
所以这个在领导力方面也是有很多的应用，比如说要去了解我们这个政府是什么样子的，然后我们这个社会是什么样子的。
So the mnemonic, again, the word for memories is world.
这个记忆术是 word。
So know how to describe the environment with the technique with 5 questions. So W, understand the organization in terms of structure and governance. Understand the people in the situation in terms of conflicts sometime. Understand what the law, written and not written law, and our duties and roles.
这个5W 其实就是我们平常讲的这个 when、what、how、why 这些，然后就是帮助我们来认识我们这个认识我们身边的这个世界，然后包括去认识我们的政府，认识身边的这些社会关系，然后去了解法律以及了解我们的责任。
And so this is the template to learn how to do this. I don't have time to go into all the details, but just for example, with the W5, this is a technique that American journalists have been using now for many, many years, where you describe who, what, when, where, and why for knowing the story.
这是我们用来学习的一个模板，我没有时间说所有的，所以我就以这个5个 W 来举例。它是很广泛的运用在新闻学当中的，主要就是在描述事情的时候使用谁、什么、什么时候、在哪里、为什么。
And actually, that technique was first described by a Greek philosopher about 2,500 years ago.
这个技术最开始是2500年前由希腊的一个哲学家发明的。
So then one at this step becomes equipped in terms of understanding situation by situation, understanding happiness, oneself, and one's environment.
就是这个就是帮助你去了解你现在所处的情形是什么样子的，然后你在这个情形下你对幸福的定义是什么样。
But also it's a way to being able to understand from oneself what out of our experience, emotional or notions or thinking, what may block happiness and what may help happiness.
这个也是帮助你去思考你的一些想法或者一些行为、一些经历，这些东西当中哪些是对你感受幸福有帮助的，哪些是没有帮助的。
And start to see, like on the left side, what may block happiness, and on the right side here with the template, what may help it, so be conducive to it.
就是通过这个模板，我们就能够更好的去认识到底什么是阻止我们追求幸福的，什么是能够帮助我们追求幸福的，从而去选择。
And that can also be used to understand oneself through the years, from early years to even to look in the future by doing this analysis, year by year. That's a technique that has been used a lot in leadership training.
我们也可以通过现在展示的这一个技术来去了解，在我们的人生经历当中，不同的年龄阶段，我们的情感是什么样子的。这种方法也通常会用在领导力的训练当中。
And then we get to the 5th step, which is basically in any situation, using techniques of visualization of what could happiness be according to my specific definition.
第5个步骤就是帮助我们去设想我们的幸福是什么，就是我身上可以发生什么样的幸福。
So the mnemonic is short. It's C. S for every situation, to be able to analyze it and evidence or show what blocks happiness and envision what could be happiness in that same situation.
这个记忆数比较短，是 C， 这个 S 就是 就是情况，然后就是意的话，它是证据，就是说什么是能让我们开心的。然后这个下面这个 envision 的话，它主要就是说，什么是可以成为幸福的。
And then use the template to do that situation by situation, to quickly see what may block happiness and what happiness could be in that situation.
你可以在不同的情形下使用这个模板来帮助你发现，在不同的情况下，什么是阻止你追求幸福的，什么是能让你幸福的。
Which leads to the last step. It's basically from knowing what may block happiness or what could be happiness, then choose for it and use the techniques for it.
最后一步就是当我们知道什么是阻碍幸福，什么是能够帮助我们得到幸福的前提之下，我们再去选择我们要的幸福，并且去使用一些技术去完成这个目标。
And so the mnemonic is very short. Go for give up what has been blocking your happiness and opt for or choose for what could be your happiness.
这个技术很短，这个 go 一个是放弃那些阻碍你幸福的事情，另外就是选择那些能让你幸福的事情。
So it's basically gently giving up while choosing for what you may wish to have as happiness.
所以这个也是一个逐渐的过程，就是你去选择去放弃什么东西和选择什么东西。
Also borrowed from psychological transformation techniques, or even some of the philosophies or spiritualities.
这也是来自于心理学和哲学当中的一个方法。
And at the end, it's a way to choose techniques to move towards your happiness as defined very personally by yourself.
最后就是一些技术来帮助你选择运用什么样的方式去追求你的这个幸福。
And any of the techniques can be used from those that we know about from neurosciences, from the psychotherapies, from coaching, psychology, and so on, but also from the very old wisdom from philosophy.
这些技术来源包括神经科学方面的，包括精神医学方面的，心理学方面，还有哲学方面，来源于各种理论。
And it can be done dimension by dimension, physical, emotional, thinking, self-concept, and so on.
可以从不同的维度来实现。
So that's it. That's the method. Again, it can be considered as a course. It is not a therapy, but it could be useful. So far, in terms of the project, the method and the tools have been given to a number of individuals who said how useful it could be and how it could be modified. We've made presentations and workshops. And the next phase, which has begun already, is to put it online on the internet.
这就是我刚刚讲的6个步骤。然后这不是一个治疗方法，但是是一个不是治疗方式，但是是一个有用的方法。我们也做一些研究，比如说在一些个体的咨询上面，去使用这样的方法和工具，然后也会做一些演讲，然后包括开一些工作坊。我们在网络上面也发布了相关的一些信息。
So on the website, the internet, you will have all the written material, but also use multimedia ways of learning through webcasts, through video, animation, interaction.
在网络上面，我们除了文字资料之外，也有很多多媒体的资料，比如说一些影像资料，还有一些动画资料。
And also mechanism for interacting with knowledge on the website through question and answer comments, but eventually some moderated groups like WeChat group, for example.
我们也有很多机制来就是针对这些问题啊、评论啊，然后还有一些这种类似一个微信群这样的一个群体的一种交流。
And one point that is very important for me is that the whole method is free. So any of the material, free, open access. I have copyrighted the method not to protect it to make money out of it, but to protect it to not make money out of it.
对我来说很重要的一点就是这个是不盈利的，我们都是一个开放的获取途径，也是免费的。我们是保护它不被商业化。
Because there are many techniques that came from the public domain that unfortunately in the Western world have been commercialized, protected, sold, and so on and so forth for profit, and I think it's wrong.
有很多类似的方法，一开始被介绍给公众，然后之后就变成了一种盈利手段，用来赚很多的钱，尤其是在美国。
So it will all be free, open access, and interaction also moderated at no cost.
所以我们的这些资料都是免费的，这个课程都是开放的资源。
So that's it. I thank you for your attention. It's an overview. It's a big pleasure to be able to present it here after Canada, France, and China. I'm very, very happy. So thank you very much. If you have any questions.
好，所以这就是全部了。然后也很感谢大家，很开心能够在这里跟大家交流。之前是在法国，在加拿大，然后现在在中国跟大家讲这些。所以现在大家有什么问题吗？
And thank you for my special translator here, Ruby. Very good and very loyal to my English.
然后也感谢我的翻译。